The sweet aromas of the apple fritter, cinnamon roll, and blueberry muffin are hard to resist. So making it home without reaching in your McDonald's bag is no easy task. But nothing worth doing is easy. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
At participating McDonald's.
Thank you for visiting ChristopherMedia.net.
They should have them at an Army Navy store, the 9/11.
We're wasting gold here. Let's start the theme.
Right.
Christopher Media. Let's make some noise. From Asthmacore Studios near Detroit, Michigan, it's Unregimented.
Gangsters, what's up, guys?
All right. We're back. We did it.
Ooh.
149. Chris.
I'm Aaron.
I'm Rich.
Was I supposed to go last?
I don't know.
Don't I usually go last on Unregimented?
Everyone says their name. I don't know.
No, that's on Weedsman.
Last.
That's on the Weedsman.
Jay.
It usually goes Chris, Jay, Aaron, me.
All right.
Jason
It's
Nashville.
in order. It's because I'm sitting in a different chair. That's why I'm throwing off.
Oh, you're not in the captain's chair, Kirk?
No,
He's in Jay's seat.
Yeah, I'm sitting across from Chris in Jay's normal seat.
Those some mighty big shoes to fill, literally and figuratively.
Yeah. Jay is in Nashville. He'll be back at some point.
Yeah, I
Probably
think,
next week.
He's going to be on the show next week.
Yes.
Nashville? I thought it was Memphis.
Tennessee.
Somewhere down there.
I was just thinking honky tonk woman, but I probably shouldn't say that because he is married. So
Jay's down somewhere where they make their own moonshine and pay no property tax.
No gin soaked barroom queen in Memphis for Jay.
So, what do we want to start with?
This will come out when tomorrow. So
Yeah, this has got to be.
It's our September 11th spectacular.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Especially with all the just people that are tone deaf that are now coming out. Well, I don't want to say coming out of the woodwork, but a couple high-profile places really fucked up as far as reading the temperature of the room and 9/11.
Oh, to be super cynical, that maybe just have to wait 10 more years.
But this, this never happened with Pearl Harbor, right? Did anyone have a Pearl Harbor sale? Pearl Harbor Day sale?
No, we've been alive, but there was 30 years between the time that happened and we were all born.
I can't imagine that would happen like 15 years after Pearl Harbor.
Yeah, I can't imagine like some
local
news
Harbor.
Some local news guy in 1960 something going, "We're sinking prices on Pearl Harbor Day." I just don't think that's that. No,
Japanese restaurants running specials.
The one that sticks out the most that I'm pretty sure if you're listening to us and you're somewhat on social media, you've probably seen or heard about is the mattress world or Miracle Mattress commercial.
I read about it but did not watch it.
It's as bad as you would think it is. It looks like someone holding an iPhone recording three people, and they have two stacks of mattresses. There's a chick in front. She's talking. There's two guys behind her, and she's like, 9/11 sale and blah, blah, blah. And then the guys fall back into the mattresses, and the mattresses fall over, and she turns.
We have to watch this.
She turns and looks at the camera and goes, "Never forget." And that's the end of the commercial.
Wow.
There has to come on, internet. Don't fucking let us down.
I didn't even realize it was that bad. I read a very brief description of it.
I'll be honest with you. When I first saw it, a person posted it that usually posts crazy, weird shit, and I was like, okay.
It's got to be fake.
Yeah, what asshole
made
this at home who works at a fucking mattress store or some shit and went home and edited it?
Which, by the way, the store is closed indefinitely, according to the Google.
Right now, you can get any size mattress for a twin price.
Full mattress?
Twin price.
Queen mattress?
Twin price.
King mattress?
Twin price. Store-wide sale all day long.
What? Like,
oh my God. We'll never forget.
Here's the thing.
Whoa.
Here's the thing. Several people were, there's not just these people were the actors. Okay, there were several people who signed off on this.
Nobody in the room said, hold up, wait a minute.
Hey, camera guy.
I think what we're doing might be offensive to some
Boom mic
people.
operator.
Well, from what I saw on the news because I researched it to make sure it was real before I was even going to bring it up today because I didn't want egg in my face on that way. But there was a news story covering the place, and the lady who's doing the talking is like either the manager or co-owner of the store. And it's not a franchise as far as I can tell. It's just like a one-off store. So this is just people who are completely oblivious to the tone of this country when it comes to this shit. And it's in Texas.
Well, I was to say, it's in Texas, so everything you're saying jives with your previous statement.
No, but
isn't Texas generally like that in general?
In Florida, it would make more sense to me, but Texas would be a strong contender for number 2.
People always joke about Texas is like their own country.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Like, well, Texas considers itself its own separate. You know, if any state were to annex, Texas would be the first candidate. So they look at it like, well, that happened in New York. That is a different country in their mind. Like, it didn't happen on their home territory. It didn't.
Let New York make fun of the Alamo, and we'll see.
I bet you there's people there that are still pissed about the Alamo. And that shit was hundreds of years ago.
Yeah.
There are.
But they probably have Alamo sales in Texas. I guarantee that.
I could see it. But why do you think they fucking banned Ozzy Osbourne for pissing outside? He didn't even piss on the Alamo. He pissed on the property the Alamo sits. Which, I mean, let's be honest. As drunk as he was, it's like going to him, he probably thought it was another bar. He's like, what's this little Mexican place we're at? I'm going to go outside and piss. I can't find a bathroom.
What was the other one? Was that a Walmart?
It was, it's, you know how they do
they stack up the
cases of displays to build stuff?
Right. They usually for like a Super Bowl or something.
Exactly. This one was a New York City skyscape.
Oh.
With the Twin Towers built out of Diet Coke, I believe.
Flag behind it.
Now, I don't see anything wrong with this. Quite honestly. Like, this isn't mocking it. To me, that mattress commercial was straight up mocking it. This just
the mattress.
This seems more like kind of like a monument, I guess, maybe.
This
is just a display.
The mattress store is definitely more egregious, but this is still tasteless.
You want to make it tasteless? Come in and knock it down and film the footage. Then it's fucking taste. You know, get a fucking model airplane and fly into that bitch.
Check the link I sent you on Facebook, then, guys. You want to see truly tasteless?
Oh boy, is it from 4chan?
No. This is recent news from Dragon Con, one of the big, which actually is in Texas, isn't it? I believe it's in Austin, Texas.
Did you sent it out? I haven't received it yet, so.
Oh, it's in the messenger.
Messenger on
it's from Bleeding Cool.
Gotcha. Okay.
So there's these two people who I believe are from an Adult Swim show. At least they're wearing hats that are from a certain Adult Swim show.
Wow.
Dressed as buildings on fire, very creatively done with crepe paper. And Barbie dolls falling down the front.
That's the kicker. I'm sorry. I'm going to hell for laughing at that, but holy shit.
Oh, hold on. Noise is happening. Fucking internet. Sorry. Shit was auto-playing.
According to them, these two congoers are dressed as a couple of towers on fire with people falling out of them. It was Rampage cosplay.
Okay.
See, scroll up a little. There's a good shot of them, too. They look so happy. They look like they're having a great time.
Wouldn't there be, like, monsters glued to the side of the building?
That's exactly what I said, Rich. How easy would it be to go and find a gorilla and a lizard or a
even
wolf?
Stuffed animals, yeah.
Stuffed animal, and just... Because it would be in theme with I get the Barbie girls, you know.
Yeah, because you could eat people literally off the toilet in that game.
Right.
Which, I mean, by the way, that game was awesome when I was a little kid. I loved it at the arcade.
Oh, one of my favorite. Absolutely. But, yeah, if you haven't heard of Rampage, I think probably those under 30 would not be familiar with this game as we are. But it's basically three monsters trashing a city. You get to climb up buildings and punch them and blow up tanks and shit.
like, they don't have friends. They didn't look at a calendar and go, hey, maybe we should.
The timing is very poor, too.
Yeah.
But see, the Barbies, I don't know if they have an excuse because those Barbies are falling, which the people didn't jump out of windows in Rampage. They hung out of windows and then got eaten.
Yeah.
Yeah. I always pick the lizard.
I was a fan of the monkey.
See, I was the Wolfman, so see, it was down.
We got them all covered.
Man, I wish we could play right now. Shit.
Someone download an emulator.
Yeah.
Where's Jay when you need him?
Did they make it for Super NES?
I think they did also. Because Super NES is on par with when it originally came out, the graphics at the arcade version. Because I remember the NES version was garbage. Okay, look, I don't buy that they first of all, I don't buy it was Rampage. No. I think they did it. I think they thought it was going to go over a little bit more.
They were promoting a show, an Adult Swim show.
Which is, and if you ever watch an Adult Swim, you know that they go for the jugular and nothing's sacred.
There's no such thing as bad press for Adult Swim.
Yeah, this is they gave us Moral Oral, the Boondocks, and Squid.
They gave us the Aqua Teen Hunger Force bomb. Remember that? They did a Moon Man display thing that was on, I think, the Brooklyn Bridge.
Yeah, they did.
And authorities had to shut down the bridge and make sure that this thing that they put up, it looked like a big light bright, but they had to make sure it wasn't a bomb. Like, if Al Qaeda strikes, it's going to be with like a little robot flipping you off.
Yeah.
Fuck you, infidel! Yeah, I think they were going for the gusto with the 9/11 outfits, and they got called on the carpet, and they were like, it's a Rampage tribute. We didn't mean it to be 9/11.
Yeah, there they are. It's my favorite part of Aqua Teen.
Did you hear what I said, Denver? Or shall I turn it up for you?
See, I don't know. I just
to me, the least offensive of those three is the display, is the Pepsi display. Yes, it's still in poor taste, but
it's Walmart. You're not expecting.
Yeah, but there's a question of intention here. That's the real question. Did they innocently dress up as buildings from the video game Rampage and get mistaken?
No,
I don't buy it.
Walmart's intention was clearly to sell Pepsi based on people associating it with 9/11, I guess. That's how you remember.
Well, the fucking retarded move there is the first Sunday of football is September 11th this year. Just should promote football.
You can't spell out NFL with cases of Pepsi or Coke or whatever. Come on, the
mattress commercial too. I mean, I'm just baffled because then video editor was involved and the TV station who aired it. I mean, there's a chain of signatures
people
involved in that fucking commercial.
Shit. It's astounding.
Yeah.
Well, I sent you.
Trump's going to win.
Is Texas that insular?
I sent you guys the link, and it's just a minute long little bit, but it's from 2004, and Patrice O'Neill was talking about, hey, I give it 10 years until 9/11 is a hot dog hamburger holiday.
Yeah.
And his reasoning is because he's like, I live in Jersey City. I watched the towers go down, and at first people would come and they were very somber, and they take pictures of the holes, and they pay their respects. And he's like, it's only 3 years later, and they're coming and they're doing the shout-out picture in front of the holes now. Like, what up, Pook? And all this shit. Mm-hmm. He goes, that's just how we are as Americans. We just process shit, horrendous shit, differently than the rest of the world who looks at it and goes, what the fuck are you people doing? Then he compares, for an example, Thanksgiving and Columbus Day. He's like, we're just celebrating slaughtering the Indians. So, hey, they get two horrendous holidays. Easter. Why are we hunting Easter eggs? Because the Jews got together with the Romans and fucked Jesus up. That's why we're here.
Look at 9/11. I'm going to tell you something about this country. 9/11, man, look, I live in Jersey City, and I seen the World Trade Center shit happen, and it used to be, people after the buildings fell, people go down to them holes and be crying and shit. Now they go down there, and the holes are the tourist attraction. You know what I'm saying? The people are like taking the shout out pictures. You know what I'm saying? In front of the holes. Because that's how we are. We have to accept how we are. We just that kind of country. 9/11 is. I got 10 more years before it's a holiday. Hamburger, hot dog, holiday. If you think it's not, just think about our country. We don't celebrate like peach cobbler day or, honeydew melon day. We celebrate horrible shit.
Just to go on, one of his best lines, he's like, and then there's holidays you don't even like. Mother's Day. I don't care how much you love your mother, you better show up at work. Your boss be like, is the bitch dead? Is she dying? You better find a payphone on your break and call the bitch. You better get your ass to work.
Yeah.
But a quick correction on those cosplayers. Dragon Con happens in Atlanta, Georgia, not in Austin, Texas, like I had stated earlier. This year was the second year in a row that somebody was arrested for committing sexual assault at the con. This usually involves some sort of groping or inappropriate touching in public. These assholes are going to ruin it for everyone. Because hot girls are dressing up as superheroes, and I want them to continue to do so. And they're just not going to do it anymore if they think they're going to get groped in public.
Aaron, I agree with you if that's in fact what happened.
Mm-hmm. But this, I was going to say sexual assault becoming a really loose term in this country.
That's how jaded I've become by what's considered sexual assault. Looking too long in some college campuses is considered sexual assault.
I was listening to a podcast.
Raping somebody with your eyes?
On the way home, they were talking about that iconic photo in Times Square with the sailor kissing the woman. Somebody was actually protesting, saying that woman didn't want to be kissed. This is a sexual assault. Why do we celebrate this picture?
First of all, that bitch is probably dead. Second of all, how the fuck you know what she wanted?
Okay.
Shut the fuck up.
Just a little bit of facts for you. According to the story on, some Atlanta paper, I believe. Atlanta Journal-Constitution. Woman said in a Facebook post shared more than 7,000 times that she was in the thick of a Dragon Con parade crowd Saturday when she felt someone pressed up against her from behind, and later realized it was a man's exposed genitalia.
Oh, that is sexual assault.
Yeah, then throw his ass in jail and let the fucking motherfuckers on the main line take care of him. Problem solved.
Yeah, that is a sexual assault.
Yes, bumping into somebody is not sexual assault. Whipping your shit out and rubbing it on their back is
bumping into somebody assault. With your cock out is a sexual
assault.
Yes.
The last year's incident was a man who was attempting to kiss and was successfully fondling another a cosplayer at the convention.
Well, I remember one of the first episodes I was on, we talked about this, and I still maintain, I think a lot of that is because with the mainstreaming of comic book culture and, for lack of a better term, nerd culture, you get a lot of the bros that show up at these things now because, dude, I saw the Avengers, I love them.
Yeah.
And I think that they don't understand that this is not a fucking nightclub where everybody's either high or drunk.
Right.
This is not the, even in a nightclub, people high and drunk, that's not the accepted behavior, but I don't want to say expected, but it happens.
I think
on the dance floor, strangers grinding up against each other, and everyone manages to do it without filing charges. But this is not the venue for that shit. Right. And it's probably some fucking bunch of fools just thinking, well, I can get away with it, especially in a parade. You know that fool thought he was going to get away with it. And
when I was going to raves in my 20s, you would every once in a while encounter, for lack of a better term, frat boys, bros, who would show up, mostly because they had this conception that rave girls were easy.
Yeah.
that they were all fucked up and that they were easy to get into their pants. And I think that's the same perception that these guys have of comic book conventions, where these girls, and sometimes they're not even necessarily fans. Like some of the more elaborate costumes are honestly just somebody hired a girl, a really hot girl, and dressed her up like, Wonder Woman or Starfire or whoever the fuck. But that's the perception, is that these girls are walking around half naked, and that means they're easy. That means they want it.
Okay,
and that's
even
why
if they're
showing
easy,
up.
Even if they're easy and they want it, okay, this is how our society at this point in time is set up. As a male, you don't get to say when you have sex as a male. You can choose not to have sex, but you can't choose to have sex and go, come here, woman, I'm horny. It doesn't work that way.
Well, if you're gay, I wonder. I've always wondered about that. If you're gay, two dudes, do you just never stop fucking? Like, is it a once a day activity at least?
Man, I don't know. I can call a couple buddies. We can get them on another podcast for another time, and they'll answer all those questions.
It just sounds exhausting. If you're in a relationship with another male, does anyone ever get any sleep?
And if they do, is it interrupted by midnight and morning wood?
Yeah, exactly.
Poking each other.
Does anyone get to work on time? You're both waking up with a boner? I mean, come on.
Yeah.
Hey, let's hurry up.
I've noticed you have a boner, and I have a boner, and we both like boners.
Frederick,
we can work with this.
This is the third time you've been late this week.
Yeah.
He's like, well, when you got to knock it down twice every morning.
I'm in a new relationship.
2 + 2, powerful boner. Well, and this kind of segues a little bit into something that I've been thinking about the last, I don't know, maybe a couple week. I can't remember when. Aaron, you brought it up specifically. You said when you started the podcast.
Talk about boners.
Excuse me. Yes, play the look at his dick drop and let's get it over with.
Look at his dick. There you go.
There we go. Thank you. It's good to know that's my legacy. I mean, I guess it could be worse, but no. Aaron made a comment about how when you started the podcast, you would consider yourself a lot more, not necessarily a lot, but more liberal than you are now.
Yeah.
And we've talked about this a little bit. When I was younger, I was a lot more conservative than I am now.
Really?
Damn sure a lot more than I was a couple of years ago. Now, I'm noticing like a trend in like perfect example, the Colin Kaepernick thing. I expected a huge backlash against him like there was against the Dixie Chicks, Roseanne, like we talked about. And the backlash is there, but there's a lot more support. Even veterans and cops coming out and supporting what he's doing. Like, hey, I didn't go over there in Afghanistan and fight, so he couldn't do that.
Right. More people than I would have thought as well have a more mature attitude of what patriotism means.
And now he has the #1 selling jersey.
Because a lot of people throw that word around as, I can't remember who I heard on the news today commenting about how it was somebody involved in the NFL was saying how they support his right to, not stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, but the NFL themselves are about patriotism.
Oh, Goodell.
Is
the
that
commissioner?
Who said it?
Yeah.
And I was like, well, that's still patriotism.
Well, he's a fucking idiot, though.
He hasn't turned terrorist, right?
No. And
those are the only non-patriots are the citizens who turn into terrorists.
Although he's seeming to embrace his black side a lot more lately. If you've seen pictures of him.
Who, Goodell?
No, Colin Kaepernick.
Goodell's bordering on being a ginger. I don't think.
Yeah. No, Kaepernick. Like he's got his hair all froed out and shit. It's like, oh, you're black now. You proud to be black?
I don't even know what this guy looks like. Honestly,
I didn't bring that up necessarily.
I can't see him because he never stands during the Pledge of Allegiance.
I didn't bring it up to go into the whole Kaepernick thing. What when I brought it up is because it seems like in the last 5 to 10 years, the generation, because, I mean, Aaron and I are firmly in the tail end of the Gen X group. Chris, I think you've said before you identify more with Gen X and millennials, and you're on the cusp.
Yeah, I'm right at the end of Gen X. I could go either way.
And it seems like you had the baby boomers, Gen X, which is now turned into the lost, not even in discussion generation, and then millennials. Millennials are stage at such a fucking fast pace.
Wait. We lost you there for a second. What did they do at a fast pace?
They're forcing this, like, social change at such a quick pace compared to what it's been throughout all my life. I'm sure my parents' life, my grandparents, definitely my grandparents. I understand the internet is fueling that, but even someone like me who is, 2 years ago, I would have considered myself a bleeding heart liberal, is going, you know what? Pump the brakes. I'm sorry. Right now, I'm tired of hearing people's feelings trumping facts.
Are you not a fan of safe spaces?
No, and I'm not a fan of there being fucking 50 different genders as of today until someone on Tumblr invents a new one. Okay? It's and they go, well, I feel this way. I'm an otherkin. Okay, an otherkin. What's an otherkin? Well,
otherkin?
Inside, otherkin. OTHERKIN.
Sounds like a shitty toy from the 80s.
I feel like I should be a millionaire, but circumstances dictate otherwise.
My soul is a dragon on the inside, so I self-identify as a dragon, and I am an otherkin. And I am a gender fluid under otherkin. And it's just like, shut the fuck up.
Otherkin are people who identify as partially or entirely non-human. A dragon, a lion, a fox, you name it. There's probably someone out there who feels like they are more these things than they are human. The otherkin community can be found lurking on Reddit, Tumblr, TV tropes, and other online forums.
Where do we draw the line?
Exactly.
What I'm saying is, okay, religion, we all agree. You have every right to practice your religion and believe what you want until you start trying to bring that shit and put it into laws and force other people to live by your beliefs. Okay, you want to believe you're a dragon, reborn to the fifth power from the age of Aquarius, whatever the fuck you want to believe, that's fine. But stop getting in my face and telling me that I'm intolerant and I'm oppressing you because I go, well, you're full of shit. You have every right to believe what you want, and I have every right to tell you you're full of shit. Okay, because when you go to the doctor, guess what?
Yeah.
There's 2 boxes to check.
Right.
Well, too, if you
They're not going to get the dragon doctor for you.
Yeah, too, if you think you're a fox, go to a veterinarian when you're sick. See how that works out for you.
And what's pissing me off is that the left has now become so fucking regressive, is that they're the hardcore left-wingers are turning their back on science, they're turning their back on facts, and they're going, well, how do you feel about this? Okay, look, feelings are a very important thing, but they're not the end-all, be-all. Faith might be a very important thing to some people, but it's not the end-all, be-all to the survival of us as a species. We have to deal with reality and facts. And these people are just as bad as the crazy fucking snake-handling, 20 different wives, blowing themselves up for some imaginary person, whatever the fuck, religious people, in my opinion.
Aaron and I were talking a couple weeks ago about how fact-based has become a pejorative. And you know what? And you asked where the line was. I'll tell you where the fucking line was.
Where's the line?
It was last year. It was that Rachel Dolezal chick. I'm telling you.
Yeah. Once you cross that line, you can't go back.
That, like,
or you can stay,
I get the Bruce Jenner or Caitlyn Jenner shit, all right? I know what a transsexual or trans, whatever the fuck you're supposed to call them nowadays, person is. I got that. But the Rachel Dolezal thing, what we all talked about was just blew my fucking mind. Like, no, you're white. But you're a white person. You're born a Caucasian. You can't just...
Right. There's a big difference here, though, because there's actually science behind somebody who identifies as one gender that a gender that they isn't represented in their genitalia. Let's say, we're in the womb. We start out as just things. We're not male or female, and eventually that develops. The sexual organs develop at a certain point. And in the same way, I'm not saying that being transgender or thinking yourself as a different gender is akin to birth defects, but when you realize
you're wired different,
right? You can see where the short circuit might happen quite easily, right?
Well, short circuit could be seen as pejorative.
We don't all start out as any animal, and could grow out to be a fox or a bear or an owl.
You're projecting a feeling of inferiority with your use of the phrase "short circuit," Aaron.
I know. I can't talk about this without being offensive.
I don't feel safe in this space with you.
No, well, that's the other thing.
The fact that the whole country didn't tell that chick to go fuck off is why we're here now.
Well, that's the other thing. If you ever notice, a lot of the bickering back and forth is between baby boomers and millennials. Like I said, Gen Xers, for whatever reason, are skipped over. But I don't think we should be skipped over, because just as I say good police need to clean out their precincts of the bad apples, we're the fucking generation that led into these idiots being able to do this shit.
This is my layout of that.
Well, we've also been labeled as, we have given society the overall idea we don't care. I mean, that's
right.
We are associated with apathy.
It's the get over it or suck it up. It's the suck it up generation versus the respect my feelings generation, and in the middle is there's too much shit on TV generation to give a fuck about any of this.
My DVR is full. Why don't both of you shut up? I got shit to watch. It's Sunday night.
Unless you're going to be on Bill Maher in the next couple weeks, I'm not listening to you.
It's not TV, it's HBO. Well, look, I get it, but I also feel that my generation has definitely enough blame to lay at their own feet, because the really heavy push for the PC movement started with the Gen Xers, and just like a lot of ideas and a lot of things, I think it came from a well-intentioned place, but it's been picked up and ran with in directions that are ridiculous, and it's counterproductive. And the job I worked until recently, I've worked with a lot of kids out of high school or just getting ready to be out of high school, and everybody's so adversarial towards each other. Once they get to, are you disrespecting the label I've labeled myself as? And friendships are ended, and angry texts are sent, and I'm like, are you fucking serious?
It's like, don't people realize, like, the same right you have to put these labels on yourself is the same right I have to go, you're fucking insane. Right. It's the same right.
I'm at work talking to a coworker, and she goes, hey, so something about, have I ever had a problem dating because, I'm a larger person? I said, because I'm fat? I said, I mean, they're not knocking down my door, but when I put my mind to it, I do well, because I grew up not Brad Pitt. I had to develop a thing called a personality. Yep. So, and I'm fairly amusing to some people. couple that together, I can get a chick to laugh her way out of her pants sometimes. and she made a comment like, I'm just gonna have to paraphrase it. Basically, what she was saying is that anybody who wouldn't have sex with someone because they're overweight, or they don't like their hair color or their eye color, is being racist, sexist, weightist, sizist, whatever the fuck
been to a club?
She could.
They're discriminating.
And
I'm like,
been to a bar?
And I'm like, okay, wait a minute.
That's nature, though. That's animals do that shit.
Okay, because I brought up something to her. I said, okay, so if I said I don't find Asian women in general attractive, she goes, I would think you're racist towards Asian people. I said, okay, do you understand the definition of the term racist? I don't think I'm better than them because of my race, and I don't think they're better than me or worse than me because of their race. Maybe I'm just not attracted to them.
He's just not eating Chinese tonight.
And she goes, and she made a comment about, well, what if it was a black person? And I said, okay, perfect example. What about a black guy who only dates white girls? Is he racist against? Is he self-hating?
Generally.
I mean, that's. I mean, because that's what it's coming down to. What about a white girl who only dates black guys? I mean, are the Kardashians racist? I would say they're size queens, probably.
Yeah,
but I don't say they're racist.
They like some meat. They're not racist.
And yeah, I've seen the porno.
They have a standard, and only the black gentlemen live up to it.
I mean,
except for that Scott guy.
If we could dig up John Holmes, maybe put Ron Jeremy on a crash diet, maybe they can fill up those cavernous crotches. But besides that, obviously they like to be filled up. That's their preference. They want to be filled to the rim.
Maybe they have deep vaginas. Maybe we're being unfair.
Exactly.
Maybe they're abnormally deep.
Whatever, you know. So, but when did preference become as you're discriminating against someone? I'm sorry. I'm not really into super pale redheads with freckles. For whatever reason. Aaron, you said you're not into the stereotypical porn star, blonde, bleach blonde, big fake tits.
Definitely.
These are not. But that doesn't mean you think they're horrible fucking people.
No.
I'm sure some of them are horrible people, and I'm sure some of them are great people.
Yes.
You just don't want to fuck them.
Yeah. There's lots of people on this planet I don't want to fuck.
Exactly.
Doesn't
and she was
anything.
basically saying, because you won't have sex with anybody, just anybody that says, I'm attracted to you, I want to have sex with you, and you go, I don't think so, that you're discriminating, and not like I'm discriminating as in I have discriminating taste. Like, you're an asshole.
So what's next? You're discriminating against me because you're in a relationship. No, that's not how it works.
I'll make a prediction as to what... Oh, I'm sorry, Rich. Go ahead.
Well, no, I was just going to... Because my buddy Corey worked at the same job, and Corey goes, okay, what about gay guys? And she's like, well, I think it's kind of sexist that gay guys don't consider having sex with females.
Get the fuck out of that conversation over. You have no idea what's going on.
Dude, at that point, Corey and I looked at each other, shook our heads, and dropped the conversation. And
moving on.
We started sending each other memes about how we triggered her every other day at work.
I said, go find your safe space, bitch.
Yeah. At that point,
she was a vegan
you brought
also,
a gun to a knife fight at that point, sir.
She was a vegan also, so I mean, she wasn't saying it like in a pissy, mean agenda of rage, hateful, feminist way. She was just saying it in just a naive, you don't know what the fuck you're talking about because you're fucking 19 and you don't know shit about shit way.
That's where a lot of this comes from. Is if you notice, most of these people are saying this shit are all in the same age group. The age group,
why the fuck
age
are we
group
letting...
that we all used to be in, where we all thought we knew shit, and 10 years later, one of the first things you learn is like, oh my god, I was so full of shit.
But society, up until recently, we all had an unwritten contract. If you're between the ages of 15 and let's say 25. Just for random ages, just throw those out there. And you say some shit and you think you know how the world works, shut the fuck up. You don't know what you're talking about. Sit down. Adults are talking. We all agreed to that. Now you get some 11-year-old coming in going, 2 + 2 = 5, not 4.
Because I feel that it equals 5.
Yeah, that's what you have to say. I feel like 2 + 2 = 5.
Oh, exactly. Math says you're wrong, bitch. Like...
You are entitled to your own opinion. You are not entitled to your own facts.
I'm with Adam Carolla on this one. I blame Whitney fucking Houston and that children are our future bullshit. That's where it all started. That's where the wheels started coming off.
Don't even get me started on fucking parents these days, because unfortunately I get a first-hand view and I'm just like, how did you get... Do you not remember before you decided to drop crotch droppings all over the place? We used to sit and talk and be like, wow, look at these fucking pussy-ass parents who just, hover over their kid, helicopter parent their kid. Now these same people are doing it, and I'm like, what are you doing? Let your kid go outside and play. Let them get hurt. That's how they learn.
Yep.
I'm sorry, but no, everything has to be baby-proof. The minute that little fucking shit monster falls out their fucking gaping maw, the whole has to revolve around that fucking thing. And it's just like, no. Jesus. Because that's not how the fucking world's going to treat that little bastard when he hits 18. Sorry.
He's
my bad.
right, though, man.
No, you are right. And it seems like we only have the two extremes. There's still very neglectful parenting going on out there. It's either helicopter parent or practically non-existent
Or
parent.
I buy weed off my kid. You know?
Yeah, yeah. Well, I will say this, and this is just my personal experience, so take it for what it is. My friends who have family who live farther out from the cities, their parents usually let them literally roam with a lot less, where you have to, every second of every day has to be planned, and I have to know where you're at and what you're doing. Like, oh, okay, if you have 20 acres in your backyard, your kid's still in your property. There's 20 acres they could be home by 5. They have a fucking watch and a cell phone. They're home by 5. Everything's fine. I mean, so it seems like the farther out of the city and the farther you get away from, and I can't even put this on any other race. This is the white man's burden right here. White, middle class, and up white people, because that's who come up with this bullshit. The farther you get away from them, the farther you get away from this helicopter parenting, and the idea that every child is special.
Well,
and it's like,
it's what leads to the news stories of, there was a couple last year of, kids walking up to the store or something, or walking to school. It's like a half mile away.
Yeah.
And people are calling the cops on these parents and shit.
Yeah, this kid, 8-year-old kid walking alone down the street. Something's wrong.
Yeah. Me and my sister, we used to walk a mile uphill, both ways.
Both ways.
In the snow.
But no, we'd never,
Barefoot.
it was literally a mile at the school that was in our neighborhood.
Oh, yeah.
We'd walk fucking,
had to.
starting 6th grade, it was.
The bus wasn't coming to pick my ass up. I had to walk it.
yeah. My elementary school in Florida, I lived a mile and a half from the school, and they're ruling in
had to
that
put hip
school
waders
district
on
was
to
you
get
have
to
to be
school.
within a mile to walk or ride your bike to school. And I fought to ride my bike. I was like, it's a mile and a half. I could do a mile and a half in 10 minutes on my bike.
Dude,
Get the
I
fuck
used to
outta
go
here.
all kinds of. Dude, I live at, neither of you from the east side, so I can't, the streets I'm going to give you, but I used to ride places that take about 15, 20 minutes to drive in a car, I'd ride my bike to. It ended up, turning into an all-day bike trip, but still.
Oh, yeah.
That kind of shit. And
Well, that's the thing. We never had a plan. We would go out each morning, not know what the fuck was going on. You couldn't tell your parents where you were going to be all day because you didn't fucking know where you were going to be.
My one buddy called it was when we were little, but he called it going on adventures.
Yeah.
Because we would just meet up. Because it basically was us learning the neighborhood. It was us exploring the neighborhood. We'd meet up in the morning at like fucking 9 or 10. One of us would be banging on the other one's door. We'd be on our bikes, and boom, we'd be fucking. It was be back for dinner. Maybe I'd poke my head in to get a sandwich or something around 1 or 2. But that's what we did. There's no cell phones. There was no.
But you didn't bring a bottle of water with you and a couple of granola bars?
And I didn't wear a helmet either.
Oh, my
God. Guess what? I fell off my bike a few times.
How many times did your parents get sued?
None. Oh, guess what, too? Since about 4 years old, I was riding in the front seat without a fucking car seat.
I got you beat.
There are technological advances that I can support.
I was about 6 or 7, and my dad had a pickup truck. And I was like, can I ride in the back? And he'd go,
I had to ask to ride in the front.
It's like, so just don't stand up. Like, stay seated when we're moving. Don't do nothing stupid. You're not dumb. You know what you can and can't do.
They probably told you sit down, hold on.
No Teen Wolf in it.
Don't stand up, you'll fall out.
Oh God, dude, fucking skitching or shagging. Fuck yeah, we used to do that all the time. The strangers' cars. We'd sit on side streets at stop signs. Wait till and it snowed and it was just ice and snow because they wouldn't plow or salt the back streets. And we'd just go up to a stranger's car, grab onto the bumper, lay down, and let them drag us as far as they could. Like you'd hit a clump of ice and you get knocked off the bumper and go rolling into a snowbank, and we'd laugh our asses off. And shit was fun. But here,
and still, even with teenage, it was still be home by a certain time, do whatever you're gonna do, but get yourself home under your own power, not in a police car, and be home by this time.
Yeah.
And if you're gonna be late, call. Now it's insanity. I'm glad I don't have kids. I'm glad I'm not a kid.
I think a lot of this comes from, and this is once again just observations on my part, I watch these parents and I'm like, this is just out of pure narcissism. It's like the parents who are like, oh my God, people out there want to molest my kid. I'm going to quote Doug Stanhope.
I know what you're
It is hitting the lottery type odds that anyone wants to fuck your child. Okay? In fact, if your child is not, like, could be on TV, pretty, most likely even child molesters would go, no, not the fat whitehead kid. Get the pretty fucking Brad Pitt kid, you know? Like, just, so stop. It's narcissism that, oh, everyone wants something to do with my child, whether it's negative or positive. And I guarantee you, most people don't give a fuck about your kid. And if you're a kid listening to this podcast, first of all, what the fuck are you doing? Second of all, no one gives a fuck about you. Except for your family and maybe some friends. And you're going to find as you get older, that group's going to get smaller and smaller.
I blame the media.
The media?
Well, yeah. You think there's more random crime going on now than there were in the 70s and 80s?
Yes.
How about this? Yes. No, how about this?
Really?
Do you think there's more murders and rapes and molestations going on now than there was 200 years ago?
Yes, because there's more people.
I don't know.
Okay, per capita.
200 years ago.
Did what? You broke up there. What?
Well, Aaron brought up a good point. He said per capita. I'm saying 200 years ago, you could get away with that shit. Now,
right? Yes, there are. Yeah, numbers wise, Chris is correct. There are more rapes per capita, though. If you broke it down by percentage of population, you think there's actually more rapes, murders, random killings, abductions, kidnappings.
Think about this. Think about how bloody World War I was. Now, go back another couple or a few hundred years and think about the Crusades. And think about the fact that these were wars, and they were actually trying to save people who had been injured. Now think about your average person who's not fighting a war, and they step on something, and they get their foot turns gangrenous, and they cut the fucker off.
It's true.
Or they die. I mean, this is what I'm saying. Like a simple bar fight now, that someone breaks a bottle and carves you up. As long as they don't hit any vital organs, you got a bunch of stitches and a cool story to tell when you're old. 200 years ago, kiss your ass goodbye.
Slump into the woods and throw some peat moss on it. Hope you don't die.
Yeah.
But here comes the cynical part of me. I think now, too, we're in the society, though, where, hey, that might not be a bottle. He might pull a gun out of his fucking pants. Or comes back later with his boys, and they all fuck you up or kill you.
Versus the Old West, where it definitely would be a gun.
Yeah, Chris, you just described gunfight at the OK Corral.
Yeah.
So then I think we're all saying nothing's changed.
Well,
as far as violence and crime and people and evil motherfuckers doing shit like this.
My point was percentage chance of something happening to your kid has not gone up since I was raised. It's only that we hear about every story of, what in my day would probably be more of an urban myth is now a major news story. There's always a new death for somebody to be outraged about.
Stop dressing your kids up so sexy.
And this shit's always happened. It's just, the spread of information.
Well, we also, in Western culture, modern Western culture, we have, for whatever reason, extended childhood to where, you're 18, and now we have this push for, if you want to smoke, you got to be 21. There's certain states passing those laws. We keep extending childhood longer and longer.
I was a victim of it myself, man. I totally think I was in like Arrested Development till my late 20s, man. Like maybe that's just being a dude.
Yeah.
But personally, I was like, I still think I relatively lived like a teenager. But no, I'll agree to that. Like I had an argument with a woman I used to date a couple years ago about, she was telling me that a friend's daughter of hers was still a kid at 24. I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about, a kid at 24? It's like my parents were married at 24. Like at 24, I'd been living on my own for like 6 years. Like,
It's a meme on the internet, so take it for what it's worth, but it made a lot of sense. It said 18-year-olds in World War II were storming a beach, pretty much making peace with whatever god they believed in before they hit the beachhead. And nowadays, 18-year-olds in colleges are wanting college presidents fired because someone dressed up in a sexy Halloween costume, and that disrespected numerous groups, and they need safe spaces, and you can't talk about certain things, and trigger warnings. You know, you can't teach history. I have a buddy. He went to school to be a history teacher. He graduated probably 12 years ago. Talking to him now, he's like, I'm so glad I didn't go the route of being a full-time history teacher because I couldn't teach history the way I was taught.
Yeah.
You can't talk about you can't talk about wars and stuff and go into any detail to try to get these kids to understand what these people went through because someone's going to get PTSD from someone talking about the shit.
Of all the fucked up shit that there is in history, I mean, where would your trigger warning stop? There would always be something in history that could possibly offend somebody.
Yes, exactly. And
this is just, if I was on a college camp, well, this would probably offend somebody too if I was on a college. My Halloween costume every year, I would just be a fucking burlap bag. Here's my Halloween costume. That's it. Just a burlap sack. Just wearing a burlap sack. Here's my non-offensive Halloween costume. I'm just wearing a burlap sack with armed holes.
And you know what happened?
And the girl would say, that man dressed as a testicle offends me.
No, I was going to say you get some English major who's read too much Steinbeck that would say you're making fun of the Dust Bowl era and the struggles that they went through moving west. And so, you know, you need to be sensitivity training.
My heritage. You're offending my heritage.
You're shitting all over the grapes of wrath. How dare you? But, and here's where I'm like, okay, so, because, yes, I see these things. Yes, I like to bitch about them, but ultimately I also like to go, okay, so what's the solution to it? And the only solution I can come up with is just look at these people and go, you know what? I hate to sound like an Eminem song. I am whatever you say I am. Fine. But you're a fucking idiot. That doesn't change the fact you're a fucking idiot.
We've really lost sight of the power of shut the fuck up as a society. That's the problem. Like, I'm really trying to be serious here. I really think half the problem is no one's ever looked at these people to shut the fuck up. In some way, shape, or form. Maybe that way. Maybe you word it a little nicer.
The whole generation of people being raised as they were hot blondes.
Yeah, exactly. It's the hot blonde syndrome.
Right.
No one's saying no.
Aaron, I know you don't watch sports, you're not up on it, but there's a show on HBO called Hard Knocks. It follows one football team every season through preseason. This year, one of the coaches had to sit his team down and go, I know in high school you weren't yelled at, you weren't told you're fucking up, you weren't told you're stupid. You're not in high school. This is your fucking job. And if you fuck up and don't do your job, you cost me my job. And I like my job. So if you fuck up, I'm going to say you're a stupid fuck, and I'm going to yell at you. And if you can't deal with it, there's the fucking door. We'll find someone that can. And I'm like, these are fucking 22, 23-year-old professional athletes who are now just getting this talk.
These are adults. These are adult males.
That's how I was talked to by my coach in junior fucking high. Maybe not as many cuss words, but, hey, look, you suck. I'm sorry. I'm not going to play you at first. Because I got a fucking freak in nature, Nazi genetic experiment, who's 6'2", who's fucking 13, and he can stretch to get the fucking ball on a hit to third and a throw to first. Get your ass in right field. That's what I was told. Okay.
Shut the fuck up.
I didn't flip out. I didn't go home. My parents didn't fucking start a petition and try to have him fired. In fact, my mother didn't even sit for my games. So when I told her what happened, she was like, really? Oh, okay. Anyways, can you stop talking about baseball now? Because that's boring. I'm like, oh, thanks, Mom. Appreciate it.
Yeah, my parents, I was in Little League, but handful of games. Little League was something I was dropped off to and picked up from. And fuck give a shit. Like, it's...
Exactly. And I'm not saying that that's how it has to be, because there was a lot of times I had a really good game, or I'd do something on the field or at the plate that I was proud of, And it bothered me that I'd turn around and there'd be, my teammates and maybe the coach who hated me, who might give me, the little golf clap. But I didn't have anyone in the stands. But ultimately, I think it was better that I went through that than if I had my mother or father in the stands screaming every time a call went against me because, you're targeting him because he has blue eyes or whatever the fuck.
Did you know what they are, Rich? We're going to coin a new... we're going to get into the zeitgeist here on Unregimented.
Yeah.
Maybe, I don't know, maybe I heard it subliminally. They're generation validation. Dude, validation. Everything needs to be validated. Opinions, feelings, fucking... Where did this come from?
Likes on Facebook.
Oh.
Yeah. This all stems from behavior of, I post a picture of me or my lunch or my dog or whatever the fuck and see how many people I can get to like it. And getting high, getting a little an endorphin boost in the brain every time that you get likes on your photo, wherever it may be. And now you're addicted to that. You're addicted to that behavior so much so that when you don't have instant approval, you become a little bitch. And this is where parents enable this type of behavior mostly because they don't know how to deal with it. If I don't constantly approve of what my kids are doing, they turn into horrible monsters because they are raised on this instant approval technology.
Nobody wants to be Menendez.
Yeah.
Yes, I agree with that.
Combine that with the fact that, like you were talking about, over the helicopter parents, which helicopter parents, I think in most cases, is more about the parents than the kids still. They've got something to prove with that kid. That kid is going to achieve goals that they did in their life, or it's just merely the fear of, if anything happens to that kid, my whole life will be fucked up and everyone will judge me.
Now, is this a byproduct of, aren't those people, weren't they the first generation of, where parents started getting divorced? Could we be getting the crux? Could we be solving society's problems right now?
A lot of this probably has to do with divorce and the overcompensation for feeling like you fucked up your kids' lives and that all you want to do is make things right for them and have this perfect world for them.
No, I meant that, their parents got divorced, so now they're helicoptering to give to be the parents that their parents weren't. That's what I'm saying.
Statistics aren't going down, though. There's even more divorced couples than ever.
I think a lot of it's a lot of different things. There's no way we could cover them all, but I mean, we're touching on some the heavy hitters, in my opinion. What Aaron said, Chris, what you said, I'd take it even a step further. Fathers in my lifetime, 30 years, have been marginalized and are seen as optional when it comes to child raising in a lot of people's eyes these days.
Yeah.
And part of it because don't stick around.
And, you can chalk it up to a bunch of deadbeat dads don't want to raise their kids. Okay, well, let's be honest here. That's a small percentage. A lot of times you have such draconian fucking child support laws, and you have a couple who are being fueled by their lawyers to go for the throat of each other, and the kid ends up being just a rope in a tug-of-war. And ultimately, someone's going to win in the court, and more times than not, these are facts. People don't like what I'm about to say, do something about it. But don't get mad at me for quoting facts. The mother wins custody, and what she wants goes. And
I do agree with you, Rich.
And when that happens, and you have a son, now you're trying to raise a man, and you don't have a man around.
Yeah,
that's hard, man. That's hard.
Now,
Aaron, you're a single father. You have a son. Okay, I'm pretty sure you don't want your son to go through a lot of the shit I went through with my dad, because I was kept away from him by my mother, I had to teach myself how to shave. I didn't know anything about fucking wet dreams,
right?
Jerking off, none of that shit. I was told, oh, stop. Oh, nasty. Little boys that play with themselves are fucking nasty. Meanwhile, after she died, I moved out a half of a fucking Hustler fucking store worth of dildos out of her fucking room. And I'm like, really? But I was nasty because I was 10 years old and figured out, well, if I rub this fucking thing, dog water shoots out. Come the fuck on. You know, this is not just isolated to me. This is a lot of kids go through this shit now. And it'd be no different, and I'd say no different if the father's got custody most of the time, and you have a father trying to raise a daughter.
Well, it's not really about custody, because fathers do still have rights, and you know,
that are lackadaisically enforced.
My ex would have to be like super insane for me to actively take custody of my kids.
Exactly.
I want them to live with their mother. I would love to live with my kids as well, but I can't live with their mother. So I'd rather they stay with their mother than me. You know, but it doesn't mean that I don't have, of course, responsibilities still, but also rights to see them. But I think if I understand your point correctly, it's that, this kind of marginalization of the father gives people with less willpower to do the fathering things, to overcome that, you know, it makes it much easier for them to just kind of slink away and disappear.
Well, I also too think he's.
Am I on the right track?
No. Well,
I think Rich is hitting on.
You're taking the route. You're taking the route that these fathers are like, oh, well, since they don't live with me, I don't have custody, well, I'll just slink away, as you put it.
Well, no.
Once again, I think that's a smaller percentage. What I'm talking about is marginal. Basically, a father is an optional parent in a lot of people's opinions, whether they admit it or not. Obviously, look at our world today. People feel that way, and it's not just.
Well, look at nature.
It's you got courts, you got lawyers, you have. Look at the culture, sitcoms. Name me a sitcom with a strong male lead who wasn't a bumbling idiot or a fucking psychopath, where the father of the family, you hardly can't. I mean. It's just, okay, no, that's right. Your dad. He's stupid. Ha ha. Look at Father's Day cards. All Father's Day cards are, was that in the last 30 years?
Brady Bunch? Oh, no, you said 30 years. Gotcha. No, I see what you're saying.
Closest I can come is Dan from Roseanne. That's about and that was a show that, even though Roseanne is a very hard-headed is not the right word, very strong woman, she still was like, I'm going to need a strong man in this show because that's how my family was. But I just have a problem with it because it seems like it goes from there down to the son, and it's like, okay, everything a boy goes through growing up becomes trivial. It's dismiss it. We tell, as you said earlier, suck it up, rub dirt on it, whatever, man up, all this shit. And everything else gets geared towards, well, we have to make sure the girls are taken care of and the daughters are taken care of. Okay, great. But where can a boy be a boy? I mean, I'm assuming we all played like cops and robbers, cowboys and Indians, something where we'd pew pew, make gun noises. And you see boys doing that now and people flip out because, oh my God, but isn't that what boys do? They roughhouse. They wrestle. Mm-hmm. They get in the fights, and then they're friends 5 minutes later.
Right.
Sorry, this is what manhood, or not manhood. This is what testosterone does to people. If you put a woman on a testosterone regimen, she's going to get more aggressive. It's just a fact. And
this is something we hear this all the time as fans of the Adam Carolla show. This argument we hear all the time. It's the whole, I guess, around here, the way that the I don't need a man kind of mentality, where the guy is marginalized, and it's what you need a man to teach. You need a man to teach a boy how to be a man. You need a woman to teach the kids. With the relationship, the kids need both. You need the both dynamics of the man and the woman, and it's being downplayed a lot now to where the maternal is the trump all, which it's a good part of it, but there is something to be said for the male dynamic that comes to it.
When you put so much emphasis on belittling or, just whatever, tutting little boys and whatever, that's just stop it, knock it off. But then you prop up everything your daughter does. You can't act like this shit is not going to turn into what the situation we have now, where I feel this way. And my feelings, once again, need to be validated. No.
You definitely cannot be openly male in our society lately. And so, try being openly white male, look out. That's how come I think comedy is one of the last things that speak to me, because I think comedians are really the last group of people, and they're in danger of being able to get there and tell the truth. And if you really think about it, like the lower, straight white male comedian, you better be really funny if you want to tell the truth. Yeah.
And you better step real careful around certain cultural landmines. Black female comedian can say any goddamn thing she wants, and no one will fucking blink an eye. And it's like, okay, where is this coming from? I mean, now it's like, check your privilege, and all this shit, all this garbage. When the fuck I didn't hear this shit, and colleges weren't having safe spaces until what? The scales tipped, and there's more women in college, and it just so happens these women come from the generation that fathers were seen as optional.
How is this?
You're telling me all that shit.
Women.
You're telling me all that shit that I just described doesn't come off as feminine? You think a bunch of boys sitting around at 15 are going to go, let's talk about our feelings and how we feel, and
no,
how our feelings trump our science teacher.
15-year-old boys are 15-year-old boys.
Be honest here, man. And I know what I'm saying ain't popular. I don't give a shit about popular. I don't give a fuck if I'm offending people, because I'm offended every day by the nonsense of being told you're wrong for thinking the way you do because, well, you're a white male. Oh, fuck it. Then you know what? Then I'm an asshole. I'm wrong. But this is bullshit also. You can't prop one group up and hold another down. It doesn't work that way.
Right there.
You can't. Yes, you cannot prop another group up on the back of an.
Well, your goal of your utopia is going to happen if that's your method.
Because right now we're not talking about equality. I'm talking about I got a problem with modern third wave feminism. It's not about equality. It's about it's an adversarial outlook at the opposite sex. If you're a female, it's almost like you're attacking. You're trying to make people these days pay for the sins of their fathers. And I think we all would agree, all three of us, no one here wants to be held responsible for slavery that happened 400 years ago, that maybe our family weren't even in the country. So why the fuck should I be held responsible for some fucking veteran who came home from World War II and kissed a nurse, and this is an example of white male privilege right here. Mm. The motherfucker escaped death.
What he wants.
Yes, he escaped death. How do you know she didn't want it? You're assuming. Just like if I'm assuming she wanted it and you're assuming she didn't want it, I guess we're both assholes, aren't we? But somehow the assumption that she didn't want it is given more weight and validity in the situation. And this is where society's at this point. Let me ask you a question. If a woman says she was raped, if you go, what proof you got? Do you think you'd be shouted down in a room full of women?
Yes, absolutely. I was shouted down in a room full of one woman last year. Trust me. Oh, yeah.
Well,
but if a man is in prison, he says he was raped, no one has a problem going, I want proof.
I mean,
by the way, realize what I just said? It was an argument. It was a discussion between me and the girlfriend. I don't want to be construed as I was raping somebody. Oh, okay. I realized what I said. I was like, wait a minute, taken out of context. That might not sound good.
Yeah, isolate that drop. That's the new look at his dick.
Yeah.
I mean, look, man, I'm not looking for either of you to agree with me. This is just, it's something that I've noticed, and watching my friend, groups of people I grew up with who are having kids, and watching the difference in how they treat their daughters and their sons, and how it's just, everyone just goes, oh, that's exactly what you're supposed to do. It's like Bill Maher said, feminism is about equality, correct? But if a woman gets on TV and goes, men are stupid, oh, wonderful. If a guy gets on TV and goes, women are stupid, boo, burn him.
And I love listening to Stuff You Should Know podcast, but one thing that they do on a regular basis that drives me nuts is, let's say that they're talking about like some scientific discovery, right? And they're like, dozens of scientists 200 years ago got together, all men, but they could have been women. Yeah, because, women are smarter than men. We all know that. Do they truly believe that? Or is it that they're so afraid of backlash of even saying that, like, men and women are equally as smart? We have to tip the scales in the other way to make up for so many years of
subjugation and oppression.
Yes, oppression. That's the word I was looking for. Thank you.
Yes, actually, that there is a way of thinking. I'm married to it. that there is that thinking. It's like it is kind of like, fuck yeah, like we were pressed for so many years. Fucking, it's our goddamn turn. It's let's put some more pebbles on the other side of that scale.
Right. And this is like the most basic story that is illustrated in many superhero stories, right? The idea that, okay, Batman doesn't kill, right? Well, we've lately not so much, but the traditional Batman doesn't kill. Why? Because that's what separates him from the Joker. He realizes that he's more alike than the Joker. He's more alike the Joker than either of them are regular people. But the defining part of his that separates him from the madmen that he chases, that he chooses not to kill them, even though he puts them in jail and they get out and the cycle repeats over and over again. The minute that he crosses that line, there's no coming back. So it's analogous to what we do in this society when we oppress a group of people, and then when we decide that our oppression of those people is ignorant and we want to correct that, we overcorrect in favor of, now there's no such thing as a wrong gender association or idea of your own gender or sexuality. All women are smarter than men.
Well, if these are the same
we don't hear it so
courts
much with race,
that were
do we?
in Gotham, that's why, because these criminals were always getting back out for Batman to catch them again.
No, they're just breaking
No one
out.
ever questioned the court system in Gotham.
They just needed a couple more walls around Arkham Asylum, that's all.
See, I think a lot of problems that we're running into these days is that there's not honesty. There's not a whole lot of honesty happening, and I think that's what is irritating.
Honesty the truth is offensive,
and
it's what's funny is people actually talk to young people. They think it's the realest time ever to be alive.
I'm to the point where, okay, I am more than comfortable with who I am and where I stand on issues. And if people who really know me, I guarantee you ask them, oh yeah, Rich feels this way about this, they know where I'm coming from. People that I care about know where I'm coming from. But we need to start being honest with each other as a society, not just this shit with, men and women, with race. It's like I said with the whole thing with Colin Kaepernick. Okay, he brought attention to an issue, and we were like, what would you have him do? Have the cops and have the people in the community that they're policing sit down and talk to each other. And make it so, as best you can, that there's going to be no repercussions for what's said. Which, I know that's kind of dream world shit. And let them fucking air their grievances. And I guarantee you, if everybody starts taking a piss on the floor, they're going to see their puddles overlap a lot more than they thought they did. And that's what we don't have.
Right.
We have people who want to slam themselves against this wall, and then you have people who They dug their feet in, dig our feet in against this wall. And it's just, it's not just a problem that, oh, hey, well, we'll get over it. We've overcome more than this. Really? Where's the Roman Empire? Where's the British Empire? We're a very young country.
Isn't it?
And we have an election that's getting ready to rip this country apart.
Oh, man.
But we live in an age of information, of freedom of information, free exchange of ideas, and more ways to communicate with others than ever. And we use that to segregate ourselves more.
Yeah,
right?
And just like Facebook, hey, they have algorithms. If they feel that there's a way you can check how Facebook views you politically. I forgot, I'd have to look it up.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and that's how come in the trending topics and suggested post, you'll see things. And it's either things that you agree with or things to piss you off, so you go post about it and comment on it.
Yeah.
There's nothing that they're not trying to present to you anything that's middle of the road, anything that's compromise. They want you to be hard on this side, hard right, or hard left. Fuck the middle. I mean, it's just like this shit with Gary Johnson, and he asked about what the fuck, what's this city in Syria, and
Aleppo.
CNN comes out and says he's not fit to be president.
Right. That's all it takes for Gary Johnson.
Really? And Trump's out there, and you haven't said that about him? Yeah. If Trump's more qualified to be president than Gary Johnson, I don't even know if I want to live in this fucking country. Seriously. That is fucking retarded.
I just don't see how he manages to keep any supporters when, I mean, he's been back and forth on immigration now. Every other day, he goes from build a wall to, let's build a plan for immigration and, we'll let certain people in.
Well, yeah, and did you see the video with
Mexico?
the AP? Yeah, it's just what I was about to say.
Yeah. I want to point out, sorry to break up the party here.
What's the party?
Facebook, you could see it. What does that say?
I don't know. What interests? U.S. politics.
Parentheses.
I can't read it from here.
Liberal. Parentheses.
It says you're liberal?
Yes.
Oh, according to what you do on your activity on Facebook, you're liberal?
Zuckerberg thinks I'm liberal.
Well, not
just
all algorithms are perfect.
But
exactly, right?
No, what this does is it backs up Rich's argument about how everything is just shifting so dramatically that now even you, guy, only 2 years talking about I used to be more liberal. No, you're still the same amount of liberal.
Right.
The media has shifted our perceptions.
Yeah. I get you.
It's been a breakthrough podcast. I don't know. I think we've talked about a lot of good things today. I don't know. It's fucking crazy.
I just think, ultimately, I think, like I said, we need more honest discussion. And people are going to have to realize, with honest discussion comes things that might offend you and words you might not want to hear. But, they're not going to kill you. But if we keep going down this road, like I came out on Sporgy saying I support Black Lives Matter. I've been digging deeper into that for the last couple of weeks, and I'm seeing factions of that movement that disgust me, and I'm finding it harder and harder to defend them. And it's like these are people that are actually committing acts of violence based on other people's races. And I'm not talking about police. I'm talking about just, you're white. Your life has no value. So either kill yourself or we'll kill you. I mean, there was a debate at Harvard where you had a white versus black debate. Awesome idea to do at Harvard, by the way. Way to stoke the fire. And this black kid is sitting there. Well, he's not a kid. College student sitting there, and he's like, why does your life have any value to the white kids debating? And he's like, doesn't all life have value? And he said, no, your life has no value because you're white. This is at Harvard, and people are clapping. We can't keep...
I don't know about that. Check the property values.
We can't keep thinking this way because eventually shit's going to pop off that it's going to be too late to take back. and we're going to end up in an entirely fucked up situation. So fuck it. This little podcast, little fucking whoever listens, if one person is going, hey, you know what? Yeah, let me be honest. Let me go to work and talk to that person that I don't agree with their views and actually see and try to find some middle ground. Fuck it, I'm happy. I did something positive. What the fuck have you done lately? Now, obviously not you guys, but you know what I mean.
Right. Hey,
They hashtag something.
When we were talking about Facebook, and I wanted to bring this up because this is, I think, an interesting subject. This recent controversy over them removing a famous photo of a naked young Vietnamese girl running in front of some soldiers that looks like had recently attacked her village or something.
Yeah, they napalmed that village. Yeah, that girl had been burned like horribly on her back and was running away from it.
Yeah, it's a famous shot. It was posted and recently taken down by Facebook, and they've had a lot of criticism over that recently. I mean,
you want to talk shit about Facebook? I got some shit to talk about them too, which will coincide nicely with this.
Let's see, Norway's biggest. I don't know. Is this a newspaper? Yeah, their largest newspaper, Aftenposten.
No, come on.
I swear to God, I'm not making that up.
Well, no, that was written in the writer's room. That was in the comedy writer's room. Oh. Tina Fey wrote that, right?
Aftenposten said, or Hansen, whoever this Hansen character is.
Come on, Norway.
I am upset, disappointed, well, in fact, even afraid of what you're about to do to a mainstay of our democratic society. So Facebook is hurting democracy by its censorship. Facebook replied that while we recognize that this photo is iconic, it is difficult to create a distinction between allowing a photograph of a nude child in one instance and not others. My thought on this is that this is no different than somebody saying, oh, we want to sell a picture of this famous photo of this nude girl running and with her horribly burned back in stores, in Target stores, and Target saying, no, we don't want anything to do with that. Thank you very much. That is their choice. Facebook is a business. I think we're forgetting that. It's not a free press. It's not some government-run thing that everyone has control over. It is a fucking business that everyone has chosen to participate in and do business with. Our transaction is in information, and they get paid well off that information, believe me. So they have every right to take down whatever the fuck they want. If you don't like it, don't use fucking Facebook. Go somewhere else. We have options. But why are we talking about Facebook like our democracy hinges upon this fucking one social media platform? It's ridiculous.
It's the idea of repressing information that's supposed to be freely shared. I think that's what's getting people's dander up.
Yes, Facebook censors, and they have the right to censor the same way any business does, the same way I have a right to censor. We as Christopher Media, if Rich said something completely outrageous and we didn't want it to be associated with our podcast, I can't see that ever happening. We let him say whatever the fuck he wants, but we have the right to censor him. I mean,
exactly.
Just the same way that other people have the right to not do not be on Facebook, not go to Target, not listen to this podcast, whatever it may be.
Because we're getting into the realm of dishonesty. Because Facebook's whole shtick is, hey, it's the free sharing of information throughout the world, and we're connecting everybody. But then they've kind of thrown the caveat of like, but only what we say. But I think that's what's getting people pissed off.
But Apple's whole thing is they are inventors, and they haven't invented shit. They've only taken other technology and patent it for their own purposes, and they're quite successful at it. Nobody calls Apple out on making shit products.
Good PR,
right? So yeah, I mean, Facebook makes this claim of of free communication with certain reasonable limitations of not showing pornographic images of or nude kids. I certainly think is a good rule in general. But again,
Facebook is basically deciding what.
I think people are
Facebook. Facebook's going, okay, if we're going by the Supreme Court's definition, pornography does not serve artistic purpose and causes sexual thought.
I think Facebook needs to learn about context.
They're not. I don't know. What pornography didn't come up in the discussion, though. Merely the depiction of a nude child, which was the reason for removing it.
And what I'm getting at, Facebook is like, okay, well, we're not governed by a government, obviously.
Yeah.
We're a private industry, and we don't want that. And that's not taking your freedom of speech away. That's just saying you can't use our pulpit to put that up. If you want to go put that up on Tumblr or Reddit or 4chan, knock yourself out.
Same way we can't promote Weedsman podcast on Facebook.
Yeah, I know, right? But where does context come into play?
That.
Oh yeah, they keep disapproving my posts when I try to boost them.
They knock it down.
Yeah,
I did not know that.
Yeah, fucking
wow,
Fuckerberg. But where does context come into play, though? Can't we all be adults?
Well, I think the bigger problem here is that you really don't have you have an algorithm overseeing this shit, right? That looks for keywords and says, "Hey, look here, this person, is associated with some sort of illegal activity or something, and we don't want this post promoted through Facebook." And it's the same thing with the photos. There are programs that can search for anything, any type of image. I mean, if you ever use Google image search, you know that you can type in description words or colors or whatever the fuck you want.
They knock down Sporgy posts, man.
So
they're getting in the game now with that too. I'm trying to boost the individual posts for the show because get it out to more audiences, and because it's just like with Instagram, because it's got the word orgy in it. They're like, nope.
Yeah, they're looking for keywords in the same way they're looking for key images. A nude child is going to trigger it, and maybe there's somebody that looked at it and said nope, or maybe it was just an automatic reply of what the fuck are you thinking?
I want to now test social media. I want to start the Big Black Cock podcast. See how far we can get with promotion.
The BBC podcast?
No, dude, you have to spell out Big Black Cock.
Aaron, I totally understand where you're coming from, and I agree with it. I mean, personally, if I ran Facebook, I don't, but let's just say I did for a second. I think that's culturally and historically significant. I would let it go. I mean, same thing. I don't know if you've ever seen the picture of there's like a kid in Africa starving and there's a vulture waiting in the background. People, well, that's a horrible picture. Well, that's reality. And some people need to be shaken to their fucking core and realize that the shit that the housewives of Atlanta is not reality, no matter what they fucking call it. That's reality. That's what's going on in the world. But ultimately, hey, it's their ball, their rules. If you don't like it, don't go on Facebook. Isn't that the core of a libertarian viewpoint?
Live and let live.
Hey, let the market decide for itself. Well, Facebook's decided they don't want that on there.
Here's the prime minister of what country are we talking about again? Norway?
Often posting.
Yeah, Norwegian prime minister. Here's her quote.
Was his name Prime Minister?
I think it's a female. Erna Solberg. Yeah, does Erna sound like a girl's name?
Yeah, but it could go either way. It could be a 6'2" blonde chick, or
definitely a female.
Norwayne Leaderin.
She says Facebook gets it wrong when they censor such pictures. It limits the freedom of speech. It says yes to healthy, open, and free debate. Oh, I say yes. I say yes to healthy and open and free debate online and wherever else I go, wherever else we go. But I say no to this form of censorship. So go somewhere else. Right? It's not if you go and take a picture of an aborted fetus and blow it up and put it on a sign and walk through Walmart, they have every right to kick you out. That is not an open forum. It's a fucking business.
I've seen a guy.
Day at Walmart.
I've seen a guy in a sign truck driving around on 696 with just the picture you described.
Oh yeah, no, it happens, and they have to stay on public property.
Hey, you got a truck full of these?
On public property, you have your freedom of speech.
Hey, can I get a case of those? Is that you got in the back of the truck?
That guy's selling chicken. Follow that truck.
25 pounds of dead babies.
I don't know how he fits a stove. I don't know. What do you cook a chicken?
A rotisserie? Rotisserie?
I don't know how he fits anything in that skinny truck.
Deep fryer? It's like the Chicken Shack one. They can come to your house.
One of them automatic chicken trucks.
Great. Now I'm just mentally playing the scene from the book The Road.
I just want Chicken Shack.
You guys ever seen that movie or read that book?
The Road?
Yeah, with Viggo Mortensen. It's like
No.
Okay, it's after something had happened. It's wiped out most of vegetation and almost all of livestock, and people are just scrounging just to survive.
It's Waterworld?
No, on land. So it's land. It's
Land World.
Land World. But it's Viggo Mortensen and his son, and they're just trying to.
It's Waterworld, but on land.
But on land, and they're like, "Oh, so Mad Max." But no, so it's just Viggo Mortensen and his son trying to survive. That's Cormac McCarthy wrote it. If you know who he is,
right? No, I remember hearing about this movie now.
There's a scene in the book where people have resorted to cannibalism, and him and his son wander up on a camp the cannibals had left for some reason temporarily, and they see something roasting on a spit, and when they get up close to it, they realize it's a baby.
Oh,
so that's all I'm picturing in the back of those abortion placard vans. Just some dude with a rotisserie baby, like, how you like it? Dark meat, white meat, just like some crazy shit. I don't think they had that in the movie, but it was in the book.
We can't go out on dead babies.
Like, yes, we can. I think it's the perfect way to go out. Just let it happen naturally.
Jesus.
Oh, shit.
Sounds like the beginning of a real sexual assault.
Just relax and give in to the Unregimented podcast. Just let it happen.
This will be our new tagline. Just relax and take it.
And then we won't be able to advertise on Facebook.
Yeah, that's
Christopher Media, just relax and take it.
Oh God, we got to get the announcer guy to do that shit.
Oh God.
Oh, dude, he almost cracked up doing the Sporgy intro. He's really gonna crack up reading that shit.
Man. That guy will say anything I want. I pay that motherfucker.
You don't own him.
Power has gone to your head, dude.
Well, he's a private contractor voice, dude. Like, as long as it ain't like.
Now we got to put a slavery trigger warning on this podcast.
No, I'm just picturing Chris handing him some
Start creating a safe space.
Not to say it's not just outlandish. He don't give a shit.
Handing him some copy, and it says Hitler did nothing wrong. I can't read that. I'm Jewish.
He's like, you're gonna have to voice this one yourself.
Who put the question mark on there?
Bush did 9/11. I can kind of read that one. Okay, yeah, all right. Oh, Christ.
Hey, and it all comes back around. Happy 9/11 episode, everyone.
Yeah, happy 9/11, everybody. Go buy a mattress.
And drink some Coke.
Drink some Pepsi.
I'm going to eat 2 hot dogs on 9/11.
Do
you think Nathan's serves them upright on that day? You get the twin pack? The 2 hot dogs?
Oh, man. Give it another couple years.
There'll be like 9/11, like instead of Valentine's cards, there'll be 9/11 cards of 2 buildings holding each other and they're saying, I'm falling for you and shit. Hallmark will be cashing in like a motherfucker. Shit.
Oh. All right. We are riffing on 9/11. We must stop.
Good night, folks. Thanks for hanging in with us on this one.
Thanks for downloading.
We went deep. We drilled down deep tonight.
I know. It's a good show.
Next week we'll have
Jay.
We'll have Jay back with us.
Back.
Hopefully.
I won't be here next week, so it'll be the three amigos.
Oh, that's right. You're doing a moving thing.
Yep. So, but unfortunately, I won't be able to join you.
I'd like to just thank everybody again. Like, it was surprising how active the feed for Unregimented was, even after.
People still remembered?
Yeah, the downloads per month stayed the same. So either that's a good or a bad thing.
Unregimented. Never forget.
There you go. That's our next tagline. Jesus. iTunes, ChristopherMedia.net. We got to stop talking.
We just lost a bunch of listeners.
On iTunes.
We lost a bunch of listeners in the flyover states, but we just gained a ton in the Middle East.
Yeah, I know, right? So hopefully still on iTunes. ChristopherMedia.net.
These guys are hilarious.
Oh, shit.
I can't stop. Okay. Somebody end this podcast.
Yeah, we have to stop talking. We have to stop talking. Bye.
Thanks, guys. Later.
Later.
If you enjoy this show and want more people to know about it, head on over to iTunes, leave a comment, and rate it 5 stars. Make sure you like and share us on Facebook, and don't forget to follow us on Twitter. Just search for Christopher Media. Thank you in advance for supporting Christopher Media by clicking on the PayPal button and by clicking through to all the sponsors who support ChristopherMedia.net. Most importantly, we would like to take the time to extend an extra special thanks to you. Christopher Media could not exist without your support. Thank you for visiting ChristopherMedia.net, and thank you for listening. Christopher Media. Let's make some noise. Thank you for visiting ChristopherMedia.net.
You might not think that a few simple words could make you crave McDonald's breakfast sandwiches. But if you listen closely to the sound of me saying McGriddles, McMuffin, you might be wrong. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
Dear home, we need a change. We need HomeSense, where one bold piece can change your whole place. Want a new dining set? Chic throw pillows? Game-changing savings mean the answer is yes. HomeSense. This changes everything.